Hi, everyone. Before I officially call the meeting to order, you quieted down so quickly I didn't even need to gavel right away. Before I officially call the meeting to order, thank you all for being here. I'll just run through the agenda so we all have a sense of what is happening this evening. And then I know BevCam's rolling, thanks to Kim back there in the booth. So we have people joining us through the live stream and on cable. Thank you, Kim. Tonight we have a resolution right at the beginning for outgoing Ward 2 Councillor Estelle Rand. It's Councillor Rand's final meeting on the council. And you can applaud more fully in a moment. And we'll give Councillor Rand a chance to say a few words as well. We do have two speakers from the public who are signed up to speak. We also have a posted public hearing for 8 p.m. If you are here to speak in the public hearing about funding for work at Holcroft Park, you can sign up here on the sheet in front of Ms. Dixon. Ms. Dixon is here running the meeting tonight with me. Our city clerk, Lisa Kent, is out sick with COVID, so our assistant city clerk, Ms. Dixon, is running the meeting. Thank you, Ms. Dixon. And then we have some routine business to take care of. We'll take a break for some committee work, and we'll come back to finish it all up. So with that, I'll officially call to order this regular meeting of the Beverly City Council, Monday, December 18th, 7 o'clock p.m. Ms. Dixon, will you please call the roll?
Bowen? Here. Crowley?
Here.
Feldman?
Here.
Houseman?
Here.
Rand?
Here.
Rotundo?
Here.
St. Hilaire?
Here.
Sweeney?
Here.
And Flowers.
I'm here. Thank you, Ms. Dixon. Councillor Rand, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much, Councillor Rand, for leading us. At this point, we will go right to our resolution. And so, Councillor Houseman, I would ask you to join me at the podium, and Councillor Rand as well, please. Councillor Houseman's changing things up on me at the last minute. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you. I notice many people who are here to help us celebrate Councillor Rand, so thank you for being here with us this evening. Yeah, you can give yourselves a round of applause. I want to particularly mention that Jonathan, Councillor Rand's husband, Jonathan, is here as well. And Jonathan, would you like to come up and stand with us as well? Thank you. Because certainly nobody who lives a life of public service to the city and to a community does it without the support of their family, so thank you. So this is, on behalf of the Beverly City Council, a resolution in honor of Ward 2 Councillor Estelle M. Rand on the occasion of her final City Council meeting, presented by the Beverly City Council, with great appreciation for the dedication, passionate advocacy for her ward and for the people of Beverly, and leadership of our esteemed honoree. Whereas Estelle Rand has faithfully, passionately, and thoughtfully served the people of Ward 2 and the people of Beverly as the City Councilor for Ward 2 for 5 terms over a span of 10 years, beginning with the moment when she was first sworn into the role in January 2014. Whereas Estelle has brought with her to the council a kind and caring heart, a calm and thoughtful style, a spirit of positive, creative, and collaborative leadership, a firm conviction that it is possible to lead in government from a place of love for all people, and a deep dedication to and appreciation for the uniqueness of Ward 2 as a vital and thriving downtown hub of the city of Beverly.
Whereas Estelle has been proud to call Ward 2 and most recently and specifically the historic Goat Hill neighborhood of Ward 2 home, alongside of her incredible family, her husband Jonathan, and their children Miles and Magnolia, all of whom have been and are active, dedicated, and creative members of Estelle's team and of the community of Beverly itself. Whereas Estelle is and has been a tireless advocate for justice, equity, equality, and belonging in our community from the beginning of her time on the council, and was responsible for the vision and the work that created the Beverly Human Rights Committee, established by the ordinance filed by Councilor Ram and affirmed by a unanimous vote of the City Council in October 2015.
Whereas Estelle is and has been a dedicated and tireless advocate for the environment and for sustainability work in Beverly, working collaboratively with local environmental advocates and leaders, as well as with young people from Beverly Public Schools and members of Beverly's business community, to build relationships and networks to help educate our community about the impact of plastic bags on our coastal community and its ecosystem, and ultimately to file and bring about the successful unanimous City Council vote on the Bring Your Own Bag ordinance in 2018. Whereas Estelle is and has been an advocate for affordable housing and ensuring that housing in Beverly is accessible to all people, and helped to advocate for and ensure the creation of a stronger inclusionary zoning ordinance in Beverly, requiring higher numbers of deeply affordable units to be included in new development within the city.
Whereas during her time on council, Estelle met thoughtfully the challenges of providing advocacy and constituent service during a time of unparalleled development in Ward 2, the most of any ward in the city, the breadth, scope, and pace of which created amongst her constituents both hopes and fears and strong and diverse opinions about the changing nature of their neighborhoods. And to this situation, Estelle brought her own special brand of outstanding leadership, rooted in empathy for the validity of differing points of view. Whereas Estelle understands deeply the power of people when they come together to share information, to learn from one another, to work together, and as such, one of her first goals upon taking office was to revive the Ward 2 Civic Association, to ensure that members of the many wonderful historic and unique neighborhoods that make up Ward 2 had a place to come together and to exchange information and ideas, to have ease of access to their city councilor and to other elected representatives, and to be able to organize and work together for their ward. The Ward 2 Civic Association remains thriving and strong to this day and is a model of what local community organizing can be and can do.
Whereas during her tenure on the council, Estelle has chaired multiple council subcommittees where she has demonstrated a commitment to collaboration, deep listening, and stewardship that exemplifies the best practice in city governance, forging consensus when needed or offering an alternative vision or view to broaden the debate when creativity or thoughtful dissent was required. Whereas during the COVID-19 pandemic and state of emergency, Estelle stepped up during an uncertain time to be the City Council's liaison to the city administration, ensuring the council was represented in the many ongoing emergency conversations about how best to help and care for residents of the city during that time, and ensuring strong communication back to the council to keep all councilors abreast of what was unfolding, thereby allowing them to most successfully do their work of caring for and representing well the people of their wards and city as a whole.
Whereas Estelle is a vibrant leader in the community outside of her work as a counselor, as well, creating, organizing, and running the Beverly Farmers Market, supporting the Beverly Arts District, and the creation of public art, and adding to the arts life of the city herself as a talented musician who has been known on many occasions to amaze, entertain, and delight audiences with her incredible skills as a trombonist. Whereas Estelle has dedicated herself in her 10 years as Ward 2 counselor to helping and caring for others, and has been a dedicated public servant and has served the Beverly community fully and well, has given of herself with her whole heart to create a place of community and to care and to foster and nurture a sense of space and belonging for the people of Ward 2 particularly, and for the people of Beverly broadly.
Now therefore be it resolved that the Beverly City Council does hereby congratulate, thank, and honor Ward 2 Councilor Estelle M. Rand upon the occasion of her final City Council meeting December 18th, 2023, and wishes her much happiness, success, good health, joy, and time with family in the years to come, and orders that the city clerk spread a copy of this resolution upon the city records.
Estelle, on behalf of the City Council, we would like to present you with this autographed piece of cardboard, as well as a map of Ward 2.
Thank you. Oh, that's perfect. I'm gonna put little notes all over.
And to go with, first of all, before I say and, a big thanks to James Harrington, our engineering department, who helped with the creation of this map. James did a beautiful job, and he put in points of interest in Ward 2, so you can spend time looking for everything that James added to the map. So thank you to James for that creation. And also on behalf of the City Council, we have a gift card for you to the castle. We understand from Jonathan that you love going to play games, and we figured now you probably have a little more time that you could go and do that with your family and friends.
I'm gonna play on Mondays around 7.
Okay.
Play a different kind of game. Do you want to thank you? Yeah, I'll say something. Why not? Take the opportunity. First, this is like heartwarming to see all these people who've helped me. All those things, all the whereases, those are your wins too. You guys did that with me. And I didn't even think I was going to get emotional, but listening to all those things that happened over 10 years, it's really beautiful. And this has been a huge opportunity that not everybody gets to do. And so I really stand by that it's been fun and amazing and fulfilling. And I'm really just thankful to everyone who helped me get here, who believed in me 10 years ago and decided it was okay to help me get elected. Thank you, Judy. And also for those of you who held me accountable, because that's a challenging thing to do with a friend or somebody that you're not even friends with. So you've all held me accountable and helped me do some amazing things. My family made a really amazing sacrifice for the past decade to help me be here and do this and be a community leader. So thank you, Jonathan. Yeah. And Magnolia's at dance lessons right now, and Miles is in New Zealand. His advice to me when I said it was my last meeting, he said, "You better do some crazy stuff at that meeting." So, that's not my plan, but I appreciated it. I appreciated the advice. So I hope you all continue to do great things and hold me accountable. And I plan on maintaining my status as a community leader. I'm excited to see what comes next, and also have promised myself that for 1 year I will not volunteer for anything. So I mean that. If you see me out there volunteering, just stop me, please. That's it. I love you all, and thank you so much. It's been great.
Councilor Rand, I think don't go too far because I see that Mayor Cahill is here with something in his hands. So maybe you should resume your place by the podium.
Please.
Thank you very much,
Madam-
Mayor Cahill.
Of course, thank you. It's so great to see your team here, Counselor. Yes, because, I was going to say, because some of the best people in town sitting in the room here today. Thank you all. So I've got to say, Madam President, Councilor Hausman, awesome job on putting those amazing words to paper. You were fantastic. And I think you'll agree with me, kind of wrote itself because of who Councilor Rand is. So fantastic, because now I don't feel pressure to say anything other than you and I came in together, right? We've served together for 10 years. I love that we've served together. I'm going to miss you for a year, and then we'll see what you're willing to do. But I just want to use a few words. I respect you immensely. Councilor Rand, I admire you. I appreciate you. I value all the things that the ways that you think and the ways that you make all of us think. I've learned a ton from you. And I think we all have learned and grown as people and as public servants. So I just want to say that. And I want to say that I'm not speaking just for me, but for everybody in the mayor's office and for everybody across the city administration who have valued you as a partner and have really enjoyed working with you for the last decade. I would say, I'm going to need I tried to write big, but you run out of paper. I will say that we truly are all better for knowing you, for being able to partner with you, to call you a colleague, to witness your leadership and how you approach your role as a public servant, and to be able to call you a friend. So thank you just from the bottom of my heart. It's been an awesome 10 years working together and getting to know each other. There's a really nice president here. You're welcome to open it now. I think everybody, we can do that too, but enjoy. And that's from everybody in the.
Thank you very much, Mayor Cahill. Councilors, we need to officially vote to approve Order 310. That's the resolution celebrating Councilor Rand's 10 years on the council that you just heard. Is there a motion to approve?
I would like to make that motion an aye, yes.
Thank you. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. That carries 9-0. I want to mention also a thanks to, you may have noticed there's some delicious refreshments. Councilor Rotundo helped pick those up. It won't surprise you to know, Councilor Rand, that Councilor Rotundo created some great hospitality for your last meeting. And thank you, Vice President Rotundo, for doing that. I would entertain a motion, councilors, to take a 10-minute recess so that folks here have a chance to talk to Councilor Rand. Oh, Councilor Rand.
I'd like to make a request that maybe this whole crew and the council and mayor, anyone who's here, maybe kind of stand up here and we'll take like a massive selfie in City Hall at the break.
I think we could make that happen.
Thank you.
So Councilor Rotundo moved the 10-minute recess. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. We'll take a 10-minute recess and be back.
For the big selfie.
For the big selfie. Bye, everyone. Thank you very much, everyone. I will call our full city council back to order from our recess. Thank you to everyone who is here with us to help recognize Councilor Rand. I do want to mention one member of the public just handed me this note about Estelle's tenure, and I'll just read it so it can also be read publicly. This is from Matt Nugent, who is a member of our Beverly community and a great advocate, has worked long and hard in Beverly for many important causes, and handed us this about Estelle. Beverly is very fortunate for the councilors, Estelle's tremendous work to ensure the city is the best it can be for residents, workers, and visitors alike. Her thoughtful, open, and effective approach to municipal governance is a credit to the council. Specifically, Councilor Rand's crucial effort to establish and sustain the successful farmers market near the heart of the city in Odell Veterans Memorial Park is a great example of her valuable work for a healthy, vibrant community, an accessible marketplace for fresh food from local farmers offered in a leafy green municipal park setting with a variety of live music performed by local musicians throughout the market season. Thanks, Councilor Rand. Best wishes, and looking forward with you to even greater progress for Beverly in the future. Thank you very much, Mr. Nugent, for those words, and thank you to everybody who was here and helped us to thank and recognize Estelle for her leadership. I do want to mention before we go to our members of the public who have signed up to speak that we do have some members of the administration here with us, as well as it seems appropriate to begin with incoming Ward 2 Councilor Danielle Spang is here with us this evening. Yes, I think that's appropriate. There we go. So Danielle will be taking the Ward 2 seat after being sworn in on January 2nd, along with the rest of the council. Thanks for being here, Ms. Spang. And we have Ward 6 School Committee member Miranda Visnick in the back row in her familiar seat. Thanks for being here, Ms. Visnick, with us. We also have our Director of Parks and Recreation and Community Services, Bruce Doig, is here. Thank you very much, Mr. Doig. Our City Council Budget Analyst, Jerry Perry, is here. Thank you, Mr. Perry. As well as our City Finance Director, Mr. Brian Ailes. Thank you very much, Mr. Ailes, for being here. Our Assistant City Solicitor, Jesse Dole, and also Assistant City Solicitor, Beth Oldmixon, are here with us. Thank you very much for joining us. Our Grants Director, Catherine Barrett, is here as well. Thank you, Ms. Barrett. As well as our Sustainability Director, Irina Keefe. Thank you very much, Ms. Keefe, for being here. And I want to mention that I know Mayor Cahill, of course, we just saw, and also his Chief of Staff, Jocelyn Royal Kersker, was just here with us as well. And thanks to them for being here as well. So with that, we do have 2 members of the public who signed up to speak in our citizen comments section. As a reminder, these can be signed up for. There are up to 3 spots per meeting, and they can be signed up for by contacting the city clerk's office no later than 9:30 the morning of the meeting. And there are 3 spots, first come, first serve, and each speaker gets up to 5 minutes. So we have 2 signed up this evening. The first is Stuart Kemp. Mr. Kemp, I'll invite you to go to the podium if you would. And then Vice President Councilor Rotundo will keep the time. You have up to 5 minutes. And I know I gave away your name, but if you would begin by stating your name and address for the record, and then you have up to 5 minutes to address the council.
Thank you very much, Ms. President, and I appreciate, I'm Stuart Kemp, and I reside at 81 Lothrop Street in Beverly. And I appreciate the opportunity to offer comments relating to the no parking ordinance under consideration by the council. And I did submit comments to the city clerk's office by email this morning, which I hope have been circulated. And the reason I'm here is that a number of neighbors who live along Lothrop Street have had difficulties with people coming in and causing problems at the end of Abbott Street and other streets nearby. And I do appreciate the proposal to enact no parking ordinance in this area. But I'm here because there's one important point which I wish to bring to the attention of the council. And that is that abutters be exempted from the no parking rule. I have a particular problem. While my house fronts on Lothrop Street, The property is along the side of the Abbott Street extension, and my driveway enters from the very end of the Abbott Street extension. And one of the problems that I've had is that people come in and they park in front of my driveway, either directly in front or in the middle parking place, which makes it impossible or very difficult for me to exit. And so I've dealt with this situation by parking on the Abbott Street extension, because I don't know when someone's going to park there and block me. And I may have an important appointment to get to, other reasons to leave quickly, and if I'm boxed in, I can't do that. And so it's very important for me to be able to park on the Abbott Street extension. And while I'm speaking for myself, I have two neighbors across the street who I know also park on the Abbott Street extension. And so I respectfully submit that it's very important that in these no parking ordinances, there be an exemption for direct abutters. Because while I would hope that the new rule will be fully complied with, I have no guarantee of that. Under present circumstances, almost every driver should be aware that you can't park in front of somebody's driveway. But they do it. They do it. And they want to be right next to the ocean. Sometimes it's full in nice weather at the end of Abbott Street. And so they want to, they don't seem to care if they're blocking me. And so it's very important for me, since I can't predict when that will happen, that I be able to park on the Abbott Street extension and not be prohibited. There may be a parallel here with the actions taken with respect to side streets between Cabot and Rantoul, where spaces parking on these streets near the Beverly Depot were limited to 4 hours so that people couldn't park all day there, take the train and block those places. I'm not familiar with the specifics, but I do understand that there was a procedure to exempt the local residents so they would not be subject to this prohibition for more than 4 hours. So I respectfully request that the council include an exemption for abutters in this no parking ordinance, or alternatively provide for a mechanism for permits to be issued to abutters so that they could, without fear of being ticketed or towed, themselves park next to their houses right in this area. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kemp. Thanks for your time. I should have said at the beginning, this part of the meeting, you won't hear a lot of back and forth with the council. It's a chance for you to address us. And that's for all public speakers during this portion, but it's always really helpful for us to hear from folks during this time and does inform our conversation and discussion. So thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for being here. Our second speaker who signed up before 9:30 this morning is Lorinda Visnick, already making her way to the podium. Ms. Visnick, if you'd begin, name and address for the record, and then you too have up to 5 minutes to address the council.
Thank you, Madam President. Lorinda Visnick, 39 Middlebury Lane. I signed up this evening to speak with a dual purpose. The first is to recite a land acknowledgement. As we gather here in this place, we acknowledge and honor the original indigenous inhabitants of this land, the Nomcog and Pawtucket bands of the Massachusetts tribal nation, which continues today through membership of the Massachusetts tribe. We acknowledge their ancestral and continued connection to the land. We also recognize our obligations to this land, to better environmental care and stewardship to which the indigenous people who care for it have long called us. As we work towards diversity, equity, and inclusion, we acknowledge the importance of lifting up and inviting in many voices, including those of indigenous people, and of including those voices and perspectives in our discourse and our decision-making and in our actions. The second purpose was to say a few words about Estelle on this, her last city council meeting, and the two are actually related, and hopefully I'll manage to get to how in a minute. I first met Estelle at the Beverly Public Library one day many years ago. We were both there to volunteer to help paint drain grates near Lynch Park. As many of you know, those drains dump directly into the ocean. The volunteer work that day was to paint on each drain a message to that effect. Later, we both ran for office and were sworn into office at the same time, along with the mayor. And somewhere in our crossings of our paths, we realized we had sons of the same age and that they were hanging out together. And that was really cool. And from the start, I felt very at ease with Estelle. I could ask her any question, lean on her for all kinds of advice, or call just to vent. No matter the situation, her demeanor was steady. No matter the challenge, she approached the situation with measured calmness. Maybe there was chaos on some lower level, but the outer level was always this measured calmness that I admire, appreciate, and, believe it or not, try to channel. This measured calmness was on full display at a subcommittee meeting that Estelle chaired, where the land acknowledgement was discussed in this little meeting room over here. And there were many different perspectives that day, and they were all welcomed. Each participant was allowed the time and space to ask questions and state opinions. And I remember sitting in that meeting, watching and listening, and being incredibly impressed by the way that Estelle managed the differences of opinions and the emotions in that meeting that evening. I only wish that our friends BevCam had captured that particular meeting on film, because it was a sight to see. I thank you, Estelle, for your many contributions to the city, which we heard about in your resolution and in the words of the mayor. I will say they left out a really important thing, your fantastic hula hoop skills. I am grateful that our paths have crossed in so many ways, starting way back on that day in the Beverly Public Library. I'm grateful for your positive influence in so many places and on many topics, including that measured calmness that I so admire. I don't expect any of you to be surprised when I say I have not yet managed to master that measured calmness that I so admire in you, but it's good to have goals. It's good to have people like you that we look up to. So I thank you and good luck.
Thank you very much, Ms. Visnick, as well, for being here.
Madam President?
Yes, Councilor St. Hilaire.
I have a constituent here from Ward 6 who was interested in speaking tonight, was unaware of the sign-up deadline. I'd love to entertain or make a motion that we waive the rule, if that's permissible. It's in relation to the power outages tonight in Ward 6.
You could make a motion to waive the rules.
Make a motion that we waive the rules, the requirement of 9:30 a.m. to allow a public speaker.
Second motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hanson?
Yes, oh, sorry, that carries 9-0. Sorry about that. So similar to our previous two speakers, if you'd begin name and address for the record, and then up to 5 minutes as well. And Vice President Rotundo is our timekeeper.
Thank you. My name is Paul Hanson-Matev. I live at 25 Vine Street in Beverly Farms in Ward 6. I'm here today to discuss the concerns that I and many people in the community have regarding the international issue of the war in Gaza. And in specific, in many communities across America, members of the cities and towns are asking their city councils to hold resolution meetings and pass resolutions that call on their elected officials in Congress to support a ceasefire. And if I may report, at this time, the congressman who represents the city of Beverly and the two senators who represent the city of Beverly through Massachusetts, Congressman Moulton, Senators Markey and Warren, they haven't taken a firm position regarding a ceasefire. I'm saying this in contrast, for instance, to Congressman Ayanna Pressley or Congressman Blunt, for instance, in Vermont. So what I'd like to do is just raise the issue at this time and plant that seed in the consciousness of each city councilor. I look forward to communicating with council president and other council members in regards to what appropriate language may be. At this time, many members of the community who are especially concerned with peace have felt that they've not received timely, adequate, or meaningful responses from their elected officials in Washington. And so I'm asking, together with those other members of the community, for the assistance of City Council in considering a resolution like this and prompting those congresspeople and senators to do what we believe is right. I understand at this time that I may not take any questions from City Council. Is that correct? So what I promise is that by the end of tomorrow's business day, I'll email you, Julie, and your fellow council members, and I'll CC an attachment to the clerk. Would that be appropriate?
Yes. You would be certainly welcome to contact me, and if CCing the clerk would be a way that the council could be in the communication.
Okay, so by CCing the clerk, then she can keep the rest of the council, in a sense, in the loop.
By CCing the clerk also, it's a public correspondence, and so
Okay.
that would be a public document.
If there's specific, just as a housekeeping measure within the time, if there's specific concerns members of the community may wish to raise with their individual council person, should they communicate with that council person and also CC the clerk?
That's always a sort of a personal question for anyone, but people can always reach out to their specific council member, and CCing the clerk would be a way to have it be a more public conversation that could go to other councilors
Okay.
at that point. But folks are always welcome to reach out to their individual councilor or their at-large councilors about concerns.
Just lastly, Pope Francis, the Holy Father, he has spoken out against what's occurring in Gaza specifically, and he's used the strongest language possible in terms of even up to terrorism. So there have been some members of his community specifically whose lives were taken by sniper fire, and he has made public statements in this regard in the last 24 hours. So I think his position too would be for a permanent ceasefire at this time. Thank you kindly.
Thank you very much, Mr. Henson-Mitev. We have a bit of time before our 8 o'clock posted public hearing. A reminder that if there are members of the public here who wish to speak in that public hearing, you can sign up here on the sheet in front of Ms. Dixon. We will take public speakers in the hearing. This is on a loan authorization request for funding for work at Holcroft Park in Ward 3. So if you're interested in that public hearing, wish to speak, you can sign up at any time. In the meantime, Ms. Dixon, let's go to acceptance of minutes of previous meetings. Councilors, we have 6 sets of meeting minutes that we can approve this evening. These are minutes from our regular City Council meeting, September 5th, 2023, our regular City Council meeting, October 16th, 2023, our Legal Affairs Committee meeting, November 20th, 2023, our regular City Council meeting, November 20th, 2023, our Legal Affairs Subcommittee meeting, December 4th, 2023, and our regular City Council meeting, December 4th, 2023. Is there a motion to approve all 6 sets of minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. That carries 9-0, and those are approved. Thank you, Ms. Dixon, for that work on those minutes. Let's go to communications from His Honor the Mayor, please.
Dear Honorable City Council, Order 311. Dear Honorable City Council, I am pleased to inform you that the City of Beverly has received a donation of 12 Christmas trees from U.S. Pavement. These will be distributed to veterans in need for the upcoming Christmas time holiday. The estimated value of the trees is approximately $1,800, $150 per tree. Thank you to U.S. Pavement for this generous donation. Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53A requires both City Council and mayoral approval before any grants, earmarks, donations, or gifts to the City Council can be expended for their prescribed purpose. I therefore request the City Council approve this donation by acting on this matter at your upcoming meeting on December 18th, 2023. Thank you. Sincerely yours, Michael P. Cahill.
Please refer that to the Committee on Finance and Property.
Order number 312. Dear Honorable City Council, I am pleased to inform you that the City of Beverly has been selected by the Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs to receive up to $400,200 in parkland acquisitions and renovation for communities, park grant assistance for renovations to Holcroft Park at 40 Mill Street. The Holcroft Park project will include renovations to the basketball court and playground, the installation of a new pavilion, picnic tables, benches, and a small playing field next to the basketball court, and improvements to the entrance walkway, garden, lighting, and fencing. The park program is a reimbursement grant which requires the city to appropriate 100% of the total estimated project cost of $690,000 prior to seeking grant reimbursement. Acceptance of the grant would entitle the city to receive grant funding which totals 58% of the project cost. Order 2023-292 is a loan authorization which would constitute a full appropriation of the estimated project cost and is currently scheduled for public hearing at the December 18th, 2023 meeting. A vote to approve that authorization is therefore a prerequisite to a vote to accept the grant. Additionally, the grant requires the city to formally dedicate Holcroft Park to parks and recreation purposes in perpetuity pursuant to the Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 45, Section 3. The enclosed order would authorize the city to accept the park grant and would further designate Holcroft Park as a public park as required by the terms of the grant. I therefore request the City Council initiate action on the enclosed order at your meeting on December 18th, 2023. Sincerely yours, Michael P. Cahill.
Please refer that to the Committee on Finance and Property.
Order 313. Dear Honorable City Council, I am pleased to inform you that the City of Beverly will participate in the Vulnerable Road User Program from the Massachusetts Department of Transportation, Mass DOT. The program provides safe bicycle passing signs procured by Mass DOT at no cost to municipalities for installation on roadways. The City of Beverly expects to receive up to 180 bicycle passing signs per the Memorandum of Agreement with Mass DOT and will plan their installation on priority roads. Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53A.5 requires City Council approval to accept gifts of tangible personal property to the city before receipt and use. I therefore request the City Council accept the bicycle passing signs from the Mass DOT by acting on this matter at your upcoming meeting on December 18th, 2023. Thank you. Sincerely yours, Michael P. Cahill, Mayor.
Please refer that to the Committee on Finance and Property.
Order number 314. Dear Honorable City Council, I am pleased to inform you that the City of Beverly has received a $10,320 donation from the Beverly Youth Soccer Association for the purchase of 4 automated external defibrillators, AED devices. An AED is used to help those experiencing sudden cardiac arrest and has been proven to save lives. The Parks and Recreation Department will purchase the AEDs and they will be placed at Beverly Middle School Field, Birch Plains Fields, Cross Lane Soccer Field, and the North Beverly Elementary School soccer fields. Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53A requires both City Council and mayoral approval before any grant, earmark, donation, or gift to the city can be expended for their prescribed purpose. I therefore request the City Council approve this donation by acting on this matter at your upcoming meeting on Monday, December 18th, 2023. Thank you. Sincerely yours, Michael P. Cahill, Mayor.
Please refer that to the Committee on Finance and Property. Let's go to communications from other city officers and boards.
Order number 250A. Dear Honorable City Council, I am reaching out to make changes to the 2024 regular City Council meeting schedule that was approved on October 2nd, 2023. Order number 250-2023. Last week, I informed you our first scheduled City Council meeting for Monday, January 1st, 2024 will be changed to Tuesday, January 2nd, 2024 due to the New Year's Day holiday. We have just been informed that the governor has signed a supplemental budget and set the primary state election to Tuesday, September 3rd, 2024. We have a council meeting scheduled on that night, so we need to reschedule that meeting for September. I am asking that you approve the calendar that is attached with the changes to January and September meetings. I'm sorry for any confusion. I always try to get the information out to you as soon as possible for next year's calendar so that you can plan accordingly. Unfortunately, I do not have any control over the state's changes and when I receive them. Thank you all for your understanding and patience in this matter. I look forward to working with you in 2024. Sincerely, Lisa Kent, City Clerk.
Thank you. Councilors, we can entertain a motion to approve this on the floor. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Is there further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. That carries 9-0.
Order 315, City Council. These are the City Clerk. These are the 2024 amusement license renewals.
Please refer those to the Committee on Legal Affairs.
Order 316, these are additional Class 1, 2, and 3 motor vehicle dealers 2024 renewals.
Please refer that to the Committee on Legal Affairs.
Order 317, these are additional 2024 livery and taxi renewal applications.
Please refer that to the Committee on Legal Affairs.
Order 318, an appointment letter for Jamie Jameson to represent Ward 2 on the Open Space and Recreation Committee.
Please refer that to the Committee on Legal Affairs as well.
Order 319, a request for approval to use FY 2024 appropriated funds towards the payment of 2 prior year invoices totaling $5,044.10.
Please refer that to the Committee on Finance and Property. Let's go to communications, applications, and petitions, please. Ms. Dixon?
Order number 320, a Department of Environmental Protection issuance of waterways license, number 15608, for 16 Foster's Point.
Councilors, we can entertain a motion to receive this and place it on file.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. That carries 9-0, so we will receive that and place it on file accordingly. That brings us to motions and orders. I would actually entertain a motion to take a recess for just the next 4 minutes to give people a chance to sign up for the public hearing and so that we don't have to break a conversation on motions and orders. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We'll be back at 8. We'll pick up with that public hearing. Members of the public who wish to sign up to speak, please feel free to do so now or at any Thank you very much, everyone. Call the full council back to order from our recess in time to pick up with our 8 o'clock posted public hearing on Order 292. Ms. Dixon.
Legal notice for Order 2023-292, City of Beverly, ordered that the City Council of the City of Beverly hold a public hearing on Monday, December 18th, 2023 at 8 p.m. Ordered that the city appropriates the sum of $690,000 to facilitate the improvements to Holcroft Park, located at 38 Mill Street in the city, including basketball court renovations, playground renovations, pavilion improvements, and improvements to the entrance, walkway, garden, lighting, and fencing, and that to meet this appropriation, the treasurer, with the approval of the mayor, is authorized to borrow $690,000 under and pursuant to Chapter 44, Section 731 of the general laws, or pursuant to any other enabling authority, and to issue bonds and notes of the city therefore, provided, however, that the amount authorized to be borrowed shall be reduced to the extent of any parkland acquisition and renovations for communities park grant funds received by the city from the Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs, any Community Preservation Act funds appropriated for such purpose, and any further transfers of funds from other sources. And this was in the newspaper December 8th.
Thank you very much, Ms. Dixon. I see that our City Finance Director, Mr. Brian Ailes, is already at the podium ready to go. So, Mr. Ailes, I'll invite you to get our conversation started about Order 292.
Great. Thank you very much, Madam President. Happy holidays to everybody. What you have before you this evening is, like the communication says, a loan authorization. And what we are doing here is we're requesting the authorization to spend 100% of the project cost for the refurbishment of the Holcroft Park. We're required to do that. We're required to do that in order to be eligible for the park grant, which you also have before you this evening, Order number 312, which is sitting in Finance Subcommittee this evening, and hopefully both of these get voted out favorable this evening. It is not our intent to borrow at all for this project. This is pretty much an administrative function that we need to do to make the appropriation initially. Once we hopefully receive the park grant, that will pay down this loan authorization immediately. We also have a $200,000 application that will be working its way through the Community Preservation Committee. So that will add another $200,000, which will then buy down this loan authorization even further, leaving roughly about $90,000 remaining of the original loan authorization, which we intend to pay down through request through the Lynch Park trustees, as well as potentially a shift from some either general fund monies that become available later in the year, or through our principal capital line within the budget. That's the intent now. So ultimately, at the end of the day, we won't borrow a dime for this project. Are there questions about the specifics to this? And I know Mr. Doig's here to talk about the project as a whole, as well as the solicitor's team to talk about some of the kind of mechanics of it from a legal aspect if needed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ale. I see Councilor Rotundo's hand. We'll start with you, Councilor.
I guess the project itself, what's the length of duration of time that this will start? How long will it take? As well as the Simon 2 pocket parks too, kind of an update on those 2 parks?
Yeah. So we'll start with Simon Street. 14 Simon Street, we were able to get the artificial turf down that we wanted to put in because we know it's going to be impossible to keep grass growing there. So we'll have a 40 by 60 foot area where kids will be able to throw a ball around, kick a ball around. That went in last week, and that's done. We're going to be putting in stone dust and compacted materials for an area where there'll be benches, and there'll be 2 benches and 4 picnic tables. So it'll be a picnic area for the families that want to go down there. We're also going to be putting in some above ground planters and at least 1 tree on the property. We're working with the Department of Public Service folks to determine the best locations for those things as well. So that number 14 should be done soon. We're hoping, unfortunately, the fencing folks weren't available until either next week or the week after. And once the fencing goes in, we'll put the the picnic tables and the benches in. So that one will be done. 34, we have most of the equipment. The rest of it is due to arrive soon. And then we'll do that in the spring as soon as we're able to start digging holes and building in the spring. We'll install the playground equipment, more artificial turf in the area that'll be open, and more, 2 more picnic tables and 2 more benches. So that'll be done in the spring as soon as possible. In terms of Holcroft, the duration, this is a state grant that we've received before for the purchase of Camp Paradise and Pete's Park and other projects. The project cannot start until July 1st of 2024. It has to be done by, I think it's June 17th or thereabouts, 2025. So it has to be done within a year. It is a reimbursement grant, so we spend the money up front, and then once the project is done, we provide all the documentation on what we spent, and then they reimburse us the $400,000 for the grant. So I have already received an authorization from the Lynch trustees for $40,000 to go towards the balance that we don't have yet. And I will be putting in a full application for the CPC in January when they're due I'm hoping to actually even get $250,000, but if not, we'll have Park of the Year monies and other things that might be available for the additional $50,000 as well. So we hope to have it all covered. Like Mr. Ailes said, we don't want to really borrow any money for this. We hope to pay for it out of grants and earmarks and things that we receive from the state. So,
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you very much, Councillor Rotundo. Thank you, Mr. Doig. Councillor Houseman, and then we'll go to Councillor St. Hilaire.
Yes, this actually is a question for Mr. Ailes.
Mr. Ailes, please.
Thank you, Council President. What happens, well, let me give a prelude. We have a lot of projects that the council has authorized money for, which are long time on the docket and have not been completed. I fully support this project and will vote to approve these funds. But what happens if, consistent with some of the other projects in the city, it takes longer than a year to get done? What happens to the city's obligation on this park loan? Would the city be on the hook for it?
It has to be done. It has to be done. So all our resources would go towards completing the timeline required for the grant.
So it would have a higher priority over other projects that may be still outstanding at that point?
Well, we always have projects going on, right? So it's always a matter of shifting resources to what we feel is the most time sensitive, the best opportunity, leveraging the most dollars that are not the city's. So, we're constantly playing that reallocation of resources. This would just be another project in the mix, but obviously with the time frame that's before us, we think it's entirely obtainable, and so we're optimistic that we'll hit the time frame.
So we're confident that it'll be done within the year? So you're confident, the administration's confident it'll be done within the time frame allotted, but do you know what happens if like on a grant like this, for some reason the deadline was not met?
I don't for this specific grant. Someone here may, but typically there are opportunities if there's, extraneous circumstances that might push the timeline beyond what is allowed. They may allow us for an extension, but we can get back to you on that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So I know you've been curious about the tennis courts at Cove and the tennis court at Cahill Park as well. So we have put that out to bid. We're hoping that by, I think it's January 11th, the bids come back in. And once we have a number, we have, again, an appropriation from the CPC for $250,000. I have commitments from the Lynch trustees for $100,000. We're always at the mercy of the contractors when the bids come back. So, and again, we have some money in our enterprise fund that we could possibly use towards that. But we have to get the number before we can move forward. So if that project is, once we get the bids back, we can hire a contractor, and our goal is to try to complete that, again, as soon as possible after, construction's allowed in the spring. So, we have other projects going on. That's the biggest one, but our goal is to get that done, hopefully before we even start the Holcroft project, so.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Houseman. Councillor St. Hilaire.
Just a couple of quick questions. What is the total cost of the Holcroft project?
Well, I estimated at $690,000. I mean, again, I'm going to be meeting with the with Bobrick Engineering, who did the work on some of the other projects in the city, and going through the list and trying to figure out if that number needs to be flexed at all. But based on my experience with other projects like Pete's Park and the Simon Street projects and other playground projects, I know costs have gone up significantly recently, but trying to factor that in, that we'll be at around the 690 mark.
Well, I guess that was my question on the loan authorization. I know that's not the intent, we say, but given that most projects we're seeing come in at a much higher level, is the idea that you would then use that to borrow, or?
No, the resources to meet the potential $690,000 expenditures are covered, so we won't have a need to borrow, and we can't go over the $690,000 without some additional action, either by the council or a departmental budget. Maybe.
I guess what we're saying is we're seeing construction costs go up and up and up. A year from now, if we authorize this today at 690 and it comes in at 800, what happens then?
So if that were to happen, we are faced with we're faced with a decision at that point. We can either come back before the council and authorize some additional funds for the project, and that can take the form of an increased loan authorization. It can take the form of a free cash transfer, or we may be able to reallocate some existing resources elsewhere that have already been appropriated, either through the operating budget or some other capital lines. So those are the options that are before us at that time, if that's the case. But it would not be my intent as treasurer to borrow for this project in any way. We would look for other types of resources to be able to avoid borrowing.
Okay. But you could borrow if we authorize it.
It's authorized for 690, so as soon as these other things materialize, which they've already lined up, they're already materializing, that reduces this authorization. So we can't take the grant and borrow $690,000. The grant reduces the loan authorization.
Okay, thank you.
That's why the language in the order is written very specifically to reduce the loan authorization as these funds become available.
Thank you, Counselor. Are there other questions or comments from members of the council at this point? Actually, Mr. Perry, I saw you start to get up. Before we go to the members of the public, Mr. Perry, I'll invite you to go ahead up. I would love you to. Is there anything that you'd like to add, Mr. Perry, at this point?
Thought you made the public go first. Good evening, councilors. Happy holidays. Also, if I may, on a personal note, my congratulations to Councilor Rand. I've enjoyed our 7 years together. It was a pleasure working with you, and I think your ward and your neighborhood and your family should be proud of the work you did here. I just wanted to make that public comment. Madam President, I wrote to you last week with regard to the loan authorization. I do recommend it. I'm a strong proponent. This is like a matching grant thing to get the park grant, and so in order to get the $400,000, we do have to do some sort of an appropriation to get our hands on that money. So it's important, in my view, to do that. It's an opportunity to grab that money. With regard to Councilor St. Hilaire, great question. I promise you I haunt Mr. Ailes constantly. I think he'll acknowledge that, and I will monitor that, but I'm pretty confident he'll be able to pull this off. This allows us to enter into contractual agreements, even though we don't go out to loan, and I'm pretty confident that we'll be able to do it the way we do, though I will be public in the sense that, just like one other one we're working on, it's my expectation the administration will come back at a later date to rescind this loan order. So that's something we'll have to do in the future there. With that said, the only other comment I'd make, Mr. Ailes, I did briefly talk to him about it. There is another opportunity to grab money. I sent you all a memo on the balance sheet. We had a pretty healthy balance sheet this year. I was very pleased with that, and my compliments to everybody involved. We did have a fairly large retained earnings in our recreation enterprise fund, so that's another opportunity to maybe grab some of those funds if necessary, above and beyond some of the other avenues that Mr. Ailes commented. And then finally, I think Mr. Ailes did reach out to the council president. I believe they're going to ask for reconsideration not only on this loan authorization tonight, but also, I believe, on the grant authorization. That's just to expedite the process to move this along so Ms. Barrett can do her paperwork. She's shaking her head over there. I would also recommend that you deny reconsideration so you kill it once and for all and they can move forward with the paperwork. With that, Madam President, I do recommend approval of all this, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions anybody may have.
Thank you very much, Mr. Perry. Are there any questions or comments from the council for Mr. Perry? Thank you very much. Let's go to members of the public. Right now, we have just one member signed up to speak, but if there are other members of the public here who would like to speak after Ms. Rogers, I'll open up the floor for comment on this public hearing. Ms. Rogers, if you'd begin with your name and address for the record, and then Vice President Rotundo will keep the time. It's up to 3 minutes in the public hearing, and if you do hear the timer, you can just wrap up your comments. You don't have to stop abruptly at that point.
Thank you. Good evening, Council. My name is Stacy Rogers. I live at 13 Beckford Street. My son and I first moved to Beverly in 2021 on Beckford Street, and since then, at that time he was 9 months old, and since then we have frequented many parks in Beverly. We love Pete's Park and Dane Street, and there's lots of wonderful parks in our city. However, I was disappointed to see that the park within closest walking distance to my house, which is Holcroft Park, is in great disrepair. And I had spoke with Councilor Crowley about this as well this summer. There is exposed rusty metal. There is stairs that are since long gone to the play structure because of rusting them away. And it is very unsafe for my 2-year-old son and frankly any child of any age. There are a lot of children in this neighborhood, so I would really love to see this park renovated so that these children can enjoy the city where they live and be happy about where they live and enjoy being outside and playing there. I don't see as many kids outside as I know that live there, riding bikes, walking around. And I think that if there was more productive things for them to do, that they would have a lot more community and a lot more engagement with each other. I know that in this age, it's hard for youth and teenagers to find ways to engage with each other, and there's many basketball courts where I see, frankly, almost 100 teenagers playing basketball and having a great time, and I would love to see that in my neighborhood for the future of not only my son, who's only 2, but when this is built, hopefully he'll be 4 years old, and when he's a teenager, if we still live in this ward, I would love for him to go there and play as well. So I thank you all for considering this project, and I appreciate you all and hope to see this done.
Thank you very much, Ms. Rogers. Are there other members of the public who wish to speak in the public hearing on Order 292? Please. Ms. Dudley, if you would begin with your name and address for the record, and then you also have up to 3 minutes to address the council.
Hello, Allison Dudley, also Beckford Street, 7 Beckford Street. I'm here with my daughter Violet and my neighbor Kate as well. Just coming to thank Councilor Crowley and the members of the City Council and Bruce, wherever he may be, for pushing this project forward. I just want to echo what my neighbor had already shared. Personally, Holcroft Park has been just a great center of our community and hub for many of our youth, and we frequent it a lot, but I do think that, you know, it's kind of like a private park at this point that only some of us are really taking advantage of. I think, you know, previous points were mentioned about the playground being in disrepair. The lighting is also a big issue that I know was something that's been mentioned as potential part of the project. Safety for the kids. A lot of unaccompanied youth frequent the park, and I think it just helped with the morale of the whole neighborhood if our neighborhood, you know, park is prioritized and updated, similar to other parks in Beverly. So just want to thank you all for considering the project and for your support.
Thank you very much, Ms. Dudley. And thanks also to Violet and Kate for being here as well. Are there any other members of the public who wish to speak in the public hearing on Order 292 concerning the loan authorization for Holcroft Park? Seeing none, I'll close that public hearing and refer that back to the Committee on Finance and Property to be able to take further action this evening. And with that, I would entertain a motion to take a break for some committee work.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We will break for some committee work now. Let's have Finance and Property stay here on BevCam, Legal Affairs in the Subcommittee Room, and Public Services on the bench, please. Thank you.
Side of the council chambers, you, Councilor St. Hilaire.
Our members, how are we? Chairman.
We have some housekeeping matters to deal with, which I'd like to deal with first, and then we'll take up Order 292, among some of the others. So there are two matters here, Order 258 and 279. Councilor Bowen's letter relating to major building projects, and my letter to the mayor regarding sidewalk, which you and I have spoken about, Councilor, having a separate sidewalk budget, which I would like to make a motion to have them received and placed on file so they can be referenced, excuse me, in the next term. So I would entertain a motion, one after the other, to receive Order 258 and place it on file.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. Right. And likewise with order number 279.
I make a motion that we receive and place on file Order 279.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. We have 4 orders that are new before us this evening, which I'd like to take up next. Order number 311. This is the 12 Christmas trees being donated to disabled veterans for the Christmas holiday. Unless there are any questions, I'd entertain a motion to approve this order and accept that donation.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries 3-0. The next new order is a grant. I'm actually going to skip over 312 for a moment. Order number 313. This is the, excuse me, the donation for signs related to Beverly. Actually, let me pull this out so I have the full language in front of me, if you would. Bear with me a moment.
Do you want this?
Yeah, thank you, Council President. This is a gift. That's what I was looking for. This is a gift to the city by the Department of Transportation related to safe bicycle passing signs. Ms. Barrett, is there anything you'd like to add?
Ms. Keefe.
I'm sorry?
Arena Keefe.
Ms. Keefe.
Bicycle sign donation. I don't need to, it's if you have questions.
Councilman St. Hilaire.
Just curious
if you
where
would,
they're
please.
going.
Sure.
I mean, I don't need every street, but just roughly how you're deciding that.
Yeah, so there is a list of proposed streets included in the package today on the agenda, and I will say this is a preliminary list, and we included 18 streets on there. And I wanted to give a shout out to Carl from the Beverly Bike Committee, who's been helping us to, or at least the city, to build out a map of infrastructure, of a proposed conceptual map of bike infrastructure that includes bike lanes, white shoulder lines, et cetera. So the process was really to sweep through that map, identify city-owned streets that also have incomplete infrastructure or travel advisories and/or are near schools. And so that short list of 18 streets came from that process and was submitted to the state. That said, we do have the opportunity to edit this to add more, as we see a need. We asked for up to 180 signs and can kind of redirect those where there's needed.
Thank you. I was looking at the list now, and I see a lot of Ward 6 streets, so thank you.
Right.
It's good to see. Thank you, that was all.
Any other questions?
No.
If none, I'd intend our motion. Thank you, Ms. Keefe. To approve order number 311. Excuse me, 313.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 3-0. Next item on our agenda is order number 314. This is a donation for 4 defibrillators for the Beverly Youth, from the Beverly Youth Soccer Association for placement at our city parks at Birchfields, Cross Lane Soccer Park, North Beverly Elementary School, and the Beverly Middle School field.
This is actually our Director of Parks and Recreation, Bruce Doig, a donation to the e-health facility.
Mr. Doig. This is a terrific grant. If I may ask, is there any training that will be associated with folks who might be in a position to have to actually use these defibrillators?
Well, this has been a discussion we've been having for probably 10 years or more, because the subject has come up before, but most recently, I'm not sure if you know Kelly and Kurt Anderson, their son Daniel passed out 4 years ago, I believe, playing basketball. Was fortunate to be close enough to a fire station in Peabody where they were able to get a defibrillator to him and revive him. And so obviously we're all thankful for that. And Kelly and Kurt have started a company called Ready to React, and they do CPR training for free, and donations for that training go towards purchasing AEDs in different places. They've already purchased a couple for the high school. So they came to us about a year ago talking about putting AEDs in as many parks as possible in Beverly. While we were continuing that discussion, we put one in at Innocenti Park over the summer that was paid for entirely by Abiomed, a donation from Abiomed for that unit. And all of the units will be stored in boxes that have lights that flash and audible alarms if they're opened, and then also have heating elements and cooling elements for the summer months and the winter months. But these 4 units, around the same time that we were talking about ordering more units for places in Beverly, Beverly Youth Soccer contacted me about putting in AEDs at parks. And
Excuse me, one moment. Call to order, Council of the Whole. Thank you. Sorry. It's just administrative.
So again, at the same time we were already talking about this, Beverly Youth Soccer asked me if they could put units at these 4 parks. And I said, well, we'll just combine it with the program that we're doing in total. And so their donation for 4 units will go a long way towards helping. But we already have We ordered 7 units last week. Some of that money will be paid for by the Friends of Beverly Recreation that had already raised money for this cause. 1 unit will be paid for out of the Lynch Park, or the Beverly Recreation for Lynch Park. We'll have an outdoor unit there. We'll have units at Dane Street Beach, Aubert Park, and other locations. And the goal is to have ultimately an AD unit in every park in the city. So we already are anticipating spending $20,000 of a state earmark that we should be getting fairly soon for another 8 units and so forth. So we're going to continue to raise money some way, somehow, until we can get units in every park. But this generous donation from the Youth Soccer Association definitely helps us with that goal. So,
Terrific. Thank you. Other questions from members of the council? Hearing none. All those, to entertain a motion to approve this this order regarding the defibrillators.
So moved.
Second?
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Order number 319 next. This is Mr. Ailes, our finance director's request to clear up some outstanding invoices relating to appropriated funds for 2 prior years. I do have a question, Mr. Ailes, regarding the $5,000 invoice for SCORE. And I'm just curious as to what the year 2023 SCORE program marketing grant is all about.
That is a program that we fund with that particular contract that the Chamber of Commerce puts on for business leaders within the community to help enable them to be more successful and to aid in our development of our small businesses in and around town.
Okay, thank you very much. That does refresh my memory on SCORE. Are there questions from members of the subcommittee? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve Order 319.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. And that leaves us to the various matters relating to the park grant and improvements for Holcroft Park. I'll take order number 292 first, which is the loan authorization request, which we've already, during our public hearing, had an opportunity to talk about, hear about, and ask questions. Are there are there questions from members of the subcommittee as follow-on to that public hearing?
No, I'd just say I think it's a great opportunity to get some serious money for a park that needs it, so, generally approve of it.
Yeah, thank you. Council President?
I feel the same way. I feel like Holcroft Park, we've talked about it in this council chamber before. It's been a topic of conversation. The lighting was mentioned by residents. We've had that conversation. Mr. Doig has thought with us about that. So this is a great opportunity, I think, to get that work done.
I agree. I mean, we've been, I think we're overdue in allocating resources to that area of the city. So I think this is a great step forward for that. I would entertain a motion, unless there are other questions, to approve order number 292.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. And then our last order is order number 312. This is actually the grant the park grant of $400,200 towards the park at Holcroft Park. Are there any questions to follow up on the public hearing or for our earlier discussions on this?
No, I'd make a motion we approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. That is order number 312. And that takes care of all of our orders this evening. I would entertain a motion to adjourn Committee of the Whole.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. And I'd entertain a motion to adjourn Subcommittee on Finance and Property.
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.
All right.
So he will love it. But, yeah.
Thank you very much, everyone. Call the council back to order. I know we still have motions and orders waiting. I've asked Ms. Dixon to go ahead and finish up reports from committees, and then we'll go to motions and orders to wrap up our meeting. Ms. Dixon, let's go to reports from subcommittees.
Okay, from the Committee on Finance and Property, we have Order 258, to whom is referred the matter regarding a letter requesting a meeting regarding city buildings from Councilor Bowen. Have considered said matter and beg leave to report as follows: receive and place on file.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions or comments? I would entertain a motion to receive that and place it on file as recommended.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. That carries 9-0.
The Committee on Finance and Property, to whom is referred the matter regarding a letter to Mayor Cahill from Councilor Hausman, have considered said matter and beg leave to report as follows: receive and place on file.
Are there questions or comments? I would entertain a motion to receive that and place it on file as recommended.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. That also carries 9-0.
Order 292, the Committee on Finance and Property, to whom is referred the matter regarding a loan authorization request of $690,000 to facilitate improvements to Holcroft Park. Have considered said matter and beg leave to report as follows: recommend the council approve the request.
Are there questions or comments on this one? The question comes on the acceptance of the order and acceptance of the proposal and adoption of the order. Sorry, I had a glitch.
Me too.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. That carries 9-0.
Council President?
Councilor Hausman, please.
I would like to make a motion for reconsideration on this order in hopes that it fails.
Thank you. So Councilor Hausman's making a motion to reconsider. Is there a second?
Second?
Thank you. So there's a motion and a second to reconsider, and just as a matter of housekeeping, and so that everyone following along understands, the council typically after a vote, there are up to 72 hours where a councilor who has voted yes can ask to reconsider the vote, which means that further action can't happen on an order in that time. If a motion to reconsider is made by a councilor who's voted yes and it fails, that means that it can be acted on more immediately, which would allow, as we heard earlier from Mr. Perry, the process of getting this funding in motion to move ahead more quickly. So Councilor Hausman's made a motion to reconsider. There is a second. If you are comfortable with your vote that you just made to vote yes on this order 292, you'd be voting no to reconsider. If you'd like to maintain the 72 hours to reconsider, you're voting yes. There's a motion and a second. All those in favor of reconsidering?
No.
All those opposed? No. All right, that fails.
Let me say no. You were gonna mess that one up.
It's always hard.
I was ready to
The motion to reconsider fails 0-9. Thank you. And if you couldn't hear, there was a no from that end of the
Like, I'm done with that.
Thank you.
Order 311, the Committee on Finance and Property, to whom is referred the matter regarding 12 Christmas trees from U.S. Pavement to be distributed to veterans for the upcoming Christmas holiday. Have considered said matter and beg leave to report as follows: recommend the council approve the request.
Questions or comments on this one? The question comes on the acceptance of the proposal and adoption of the order. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Thank you. That carries 9-0 with thanks for that generous donation for those trees to go to veterans.
Order 312, the Committee on Finance and Property, to whom was referred the matter regarding a grant up to $400,200 in parkland acquisition and renovation for communities grant assistance for renovations to Holcroft Park at 40 Mill Street from Mass DOT. Have considered said matter and beg leave to report as follows: recommend the council approve the request.
Are there questions or comments on this one? Question comes on the acceptance of the proposal and adoption of the order. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Thank you. That carries 9-0.
Order 313, the Committee on Finance and...
Sorry. Mr. Dole was jumping up. Sorry, Ms. Dixon.
Oh, yes, right.
Madam President, I'd like to reconsider.
Thank you. Councilor Crowley is making a motion to reconsider on this park grant for the same reason. That would allow the funding to be processed more quickly. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Councilor Crowley, I'm assuming you're making the motion hoping that it fails?
Yes.
All right. All those in favor of reconsideration? All those opposed to reconsideration?
Aye.
Thank you. That also fails 0-9. Thank you, Counselor Crowley.
Yes, I vote no. Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Dixon.
Sorry. Order 313, the Committee on Finance and Property, to whom is referred the matter regarding the City of Beverly participating in the Vulnerable Road User Program from Mass DOT. This program will provide safe bicycle passing signs at no cost to the city. Beverly expects to receive up to 180 bicycle passing signs. Have considered said matter and beg leave to report as follows. Recommend the council approve the request.
Are there questions or comments on this one? Question comes on the acceptance of the proposal and adoption of the order. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Thank you. That carries 9-0.
Order 314, the Committee on Finance and Property, to whom is referred the matter regarding a donation of $10,320 from Beverly Youth Soccer Associates for the purchase of 4 automated external defibrillator devices. Have considered said matter and beg leave to report as follows. Recommend the council approve the request.
Are there questions or comments on this one? The question comes on the acceptance of the proposal and adoption of the order. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Thank you. That carries 9-0.
Order 319, the Committee on Finance and Property, to whom is referred the matter regarding a request for approval to use FY24 appropriated funds toward the payment of 2 prior year invoices totaling $5,044.10. Have considered said matter and beg leave to report as follows. Recommend the council approve the request.
Questions or comments? The question comes on the acceptance of the proposal and adoption of the order. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Thank you. That carries 9-0.
From the Committee on Legal Affairs, we have Order 315. The Committee on Legal Affairs, to whom is referred the matter regarding the 2024 amusement license renewals, have considered said matter and beg leave to report as follows. Recommend the license be granted.
Questions or comments? The question comes on the acceptance of the proposal and adoption of the order. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Thank you. That carries 9-0.
Order 316, the Committee on Legal Affairs, to whom is referred the matter regarding additional 2024 Class 1, 2, and 3 motor vehicle dealer license renewals, have considered said matter and beg leave to report as follows. Recommend the licenses be granted.
Questions or comments? The question comes on the acceptance of the proposal and adoption of the order. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Thank you. That carries 9-0.
Order 317, the Committee on Legal Affairs, to whom is referred the matter regarding additional 2024 livery and taxi renewal licenses, have considered said matter and beg leave to report as follows. Recommend the licenses be granted.
Questions or comments? The question comes on the acceptance of the proposal and adoption of the order. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
That carries 9-0.
Order 318, the Committee on Legal Affairs, to whom is referred the matter regarding an appointment for Jamie Jameson to represent Ward 2 on the Open Space and Recreation Committee, have considered said matter and beg leave to report as follows. Recommend the council approve the appointment.
Counselor Rand, this is your appointment. Is there anything that you wanted to say?
Just thank you to Jamie for stepping up to get involved with the Open Space and Recreation Committee.
Thank you very much. Are there other questions or comments? The question comes on the acceptance of the proposal and adoption of the order. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Thank you. That carries 9-0, and I'll echo that thanks to Jamie Jameson for being willing to be part of that committee.
I forgot, we have a lot of reports from the 5:30 PM Legal Affairs, so we're going to do those ones now. This is a handout that was brought to that meeting. That's for all the committee members received them, but if we could send them this way. This should be enough for them. You should have one already. So those go with Order 239. The Committee on Legal Affairs, to whom is referred the matter regarding a letter regarding Section 8-5 of the City Charter, review of ordinances, have considered said matter and beg leave to report as follows. Submit to the council the report from Legal Affairs. Do you want to read the letter or do you want me to? Okay. And this is the letter that goes with it. Dear Honorable Council, as you know, in accordance with Section 8-5 of our city charter, review of ordinances, it is the purview of the City Council to provide for a review of all the ordinances of the city in each year ending in a 2 or in a 7. This review is done per the charter for the purpose of determining if any amendments or revisions may be necessary or desirable. As you also know, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the schedule on which our city charter review was completed shifted slightly from its prescribed year, ending in a 0, and is now complete. In the interest of having the charter review process wrapped up, we have delayed slightly on beginning our ordinance review, undertaking that now in a year ending in 3. The city charter provides for the ordinance review process to be undertaken by the city council, and with the city council providing supervision of work done in the process by the city solicitor. As such, I hereby appoint the Legal Affairs Subcommittee. Oh, this is the wrong letter. I'm sorry.
You're doing a great job reading it, though.
Thanks. I have it here. So I'll put it together. Dear Honorable Council, as directed by President Flowers in Order 2023-239, the Legal Affairs Subcommittee conducted a review of the city ordinances as required by Section 8-5 of the City Charter. This letter and attachments serve as the report and recommendations contemplated by that section of the Charter. Throughout October, November, and early December, the subcommittee met on several occasions to conduct its review using the suggestions submitted by the Solicitor's Office in Order 239A as a starting point. One or more members of the Solicitor's Office attended each meeting. Additionally, Chief O'Connor, Chief Latcher, and Director Doig attended one meeting at the request of the subcommittee in order to review certain ordinances specific to the fire, police, and community services departments. The subcommittee reviewed the administrative and general legislation sections of the code. The review focused on consideration of ordinance amendments that would modernize language and remove obsolete provisions, correct typographical errors, eliminate inconsistencies and/or redundancies with the city charter or state law or policy, and address provisions that pose possible constitutional issues. The review did not include chapters of the code that are technical in nature, e.g. zoning, sewers, stormwater management, among other provisions. Additionally, Planning Board, Board of Health, and Conservation Commission regulations were not reviewed because those provisions fall within the jurisdiction of the aforementioned boards. The recommendations of the subcommittee are summarized in the attached table. The table provides the specific ordinance sections and corresponding purpose of the recommended amendments. The red-lined ordinances that accompany the table reflect the proposed amendments in context. The Solicitor's Office has advised that should the City Council wish to entertain the proposed amendments identified in this report, a new order that actually proposes the amendment should be filed in 2024. Sincerely, Estelle Rand, Chair, Legal Affairs Subcommittee.
Thank you, Ms. Dixon. I apologize I let you go on reading
No,
your
it was
letter.
fine. Really glad to have Lisa back.
No, that was my mistake. I thought, well, I guess she's supposed to be reading my letter.
Nope.
You did a great job with it. Councilor Rand, anything else that you wanted to say about this?
I just wanted to thank the Solicitor's Department for their work and guidance in this whole process, and also the Legal Affairs Committee. This was an interesting review, and I feel like at this point in the term, we were kind of fairly smoothly operating machine, and we got through this and had fun doing it. The recommendations were discussed in depth, and looking forward to seeing what you'll do with it in the new term.
Thank you very much. So for now, I would entertain a motion to receive this and place it on file, and then, as we heard at the close of the letter, next term, the Legal Affairs Committee could refile a report that would contain the specific amendments, and the work could continue. So is there a motion to receive and place on file?
So moved.
Second.
Councilor Bowen.
Thanks. Just a quick question on the red line attachment and where that might be accessible to members of the public who are interested or councilors before it's reintroduced.
Councilor Rand.
The clerk's office will send it electronically to everyone. It's Ms. Dixon has a copy of it in front of her. It's like 120 pages long, so it'll be coming electronically.
Thank you very much, Councilor Rand. And to your question about members of the public, also contact the clerk's office if you'd like to see the full document, and we can direct you to that. Thank you very much, Councilor.
Council President?
Yes.
If I may, through you to Councilor Rand?
Yes.
I just want to thank you and your committee for all of your work on this. It's a lot. I appreciate it. One quick question. My understanding is that of all of these sections that are referenced and summarized here, the members of the Legal Affairs Subcommittee in this term recommends passage of the proposed amendments to the ordinance as summarized here. Is that correct?
Councilor Rand.
Through you, President Flowers, yes, we do recommend that. Yeah.
Thank you.
And they were discussed and are not exactly, we were presented with amendments and also discussion points and, made amendments ourselves to what was proposed. And so they're the result of really collaborative effort between the Solicitor's Office and the Legal Affairs Committee.
Okay, thank you.
Councilor Rotundo.
Just for clarification, I believe, though, although we make the recommendation's been made, it still needs to be reintroduced in the next session
yes.
to implement all of these rules and changes. So that's why it's to be accepted. Sorry, thank you.
Oh, thank you. That's a helpful clarification, Councilor Rotundo. Appreciated. Thank you very much. Any further discussion? So there's a motion and a second to receive and place on file. All those approved, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. I could see the future and knew that would be approved. 9-0, thank you.
Order 239A, the Committee on Legal Affairs, to whom was referred the matter regarding Order 239-2023, review of city ordinances, city solicitor proposed amendments, have considered said matter and beg leave to report as follows: receive and place on file.
Thank you. I would entertain a motion to receive the totality of the original filing and place it on file.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Order 183, the Committee on Legal Affairs, to whom was referred the matter regarding a request for temporary resident-only parking, have considered said matter and beg leave to report as follows: receive and place on file.
Thank you very much. I would entertain a motion to receive and place on file as recommended.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. That carries 9-0.
Order 282, the Committee on Legal Affairs, to whom was referred the matter regarding a 2024 renewal application for a lodging house license for Grigor Karazi at 32 Broadway, have considered said matter and beg leave to report as follows: recommend the license be granted as a probationary license until February 5th to resolve the building inspection.
Are there questions or comments on this one? I would entertain a motion to approve as a provisionary license until February 5th as recommended by Legal Affairs.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. That's 9-0 on that provisionary license.
Order 284, the Committee on Legal Affairs, to whom was referred the matter regarding a 2024 renewal application for a lodging license for Turner Properties, Cabot Lodge, located at 9193 Cabot Street, have considered said matter and beg leave to report as follows: recommend the license be granted, having found good cause to do so despite outstanding code violations.
Thank you. Are there questions or comments on this one? The question comes on the acceptance of the proposal and adoption of the order. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
9-0.
Order 286, the Committee on Legal Affairs, to whom was referred the matter regarding 2024 renewal application for a lodging house license for Girdler House, 78 Lothrop Street, have considered said matter and beg leave to report as follows: recommend the license be granted, having found good cause to do so despite outstanding code violations.
Are there questions or comments on this one? The question comes on the acceptance of the proposal and adoption of the order. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
That carries 9-0.
Order 287, the Committee on Legal Affairs, to whom was referred the matter regarding the 2024 renewal application for a lodging house license for 276 Rantoul Street LLC at 276-278 Rantoul Street, have considered said matter and beg leave to report as follows: recommend a probationary license be granted until February 5th to resolve health and building inspections.
Are there questions or comments on this one? I would entertain a motion to approve the license until February 5th as recommended by Legal Affairs.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
That's 9-0 on the license, temporary license until February 5th. Thank you.
Order 288, the Committee on Legal Affairs, to whom is referred the matter regarding a 2024 renewal application for a lodging house license for Cosmos Residences Realty Trust, Garden City Residences at 490 Rantoul Street, have considered said matter and beg leave to report as follows. Recommend a probationary license be granted until February 5th to resolve health and building inspections.
Other questions or comments on this one? I would entertain a motion to grant that license until February 5th as recommended by Legal Affairs.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
That carries 9-0.
Order 299, the Committee on Legal Affairs, to whom is referred the matter regarding a reappointment for Ellen Flannery, 30 Conant Street, to serve on the Beverly Planning Board, have considered said matter and beg leave to report as follows. Recommend the council approve the reappointment.
Questions or comments on this one? Question comes on the acceptance of the proposal and adoption of the order. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
That carries 9-0, and thank you to Ellen Flannery for being willing to continue to serve.
Order 300, the Committee on Legal Affairs, to whom was referred the matter regarding a reappointment for Mark Iannuzzi, 29 Granite Street, to serve as constable in the city of Beverly, have considered said matter and beg leave to report as follows. Recommend the council approve the reappointment.
Questions or comments? Question comes on the acceptance of the proposal and adoption of the order. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
That carries 9-0.
Order 302, the Committee on Legal Affairs, to whom was referred the matter regarding an appointment for Grace Charles, 12 Hale Park, to serve as the Conservation Commission representative on the Open Space and Recreation Committee, have considered said matter and beg leave to report as follows. Recommend the council approve the appointment.
Questions or comments on this one? Question comes on the acceptance of the proposal and adoption of the order. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
That carries 9-0.
From the Committee on Public Services, Order 298, the Committee on Public Services, to whom is referred the matter regarding a reappointment for David Lane, 10 Foster's Point, to serve on the Beverly Harbor Management Authority, have considered said matter and beg leave to report as follows. Recommend the council approve the reappointment.
Questions or comments? Question comes on the acceptance of the proposal and adoption of the order. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
That carries 9-0, and thanks to Mr. Lane as well for being willing to continue.
Order 301, the Committee on Public Services, to whom was referred the matter regarding an appointment for Joseph Crowell, 7 Margaret Avenue, to serve on the Beverly Harbor Management Authority, have considered said matter and beg leave to report as follows. Recommend the council approve the appointment.
Questions or comments? Question comes on the acceptance of the proposal and adoption of the order. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
That carries 9-0 as well. Thank you very much. That brings us to the end of reports from committees, so we'll go to motions and orders. We do have 3 proposed orders that are available this evening for final passage. And so we'll start with Order 277. This is proposed amendments to Chapter 270, Sections 41, 42, 43, and 45. Is there a motion to approve? Oh, I'm sorry. We need to read it. I know, that's my fault. I'm sorry. You were ready.
No, I think I only have to read the whole. Is it the summary?
Just the summary, you're right.
So is that this part?
Yes.
Proposed amendments to Chapter 270, Sections 41, 42, 43, and 45 relative to parking in the area of Lothrop Street. Dear Honorable City Council, please find an order proposing amendments to Section 41, 42, 43, and 45 of Chapter 270 Vehicles and Traffic of the City Ordinances to address concerns regarding parking in the area of Lothrop Street. After multiple meetings with residents of the area over several months, we are submitting these amendments for your consideration.
Thank you very much. Is there a motion to approve Order 277?
So moved.
Second.
Further discussion? Counselor Houseman.
Yes, I just have a question relative to Mr. Kent's concerns around the corner of Abbott and Lothrop Street, and how they might be addressed, or if they have already been considered through legal affairs in terms of addressing this in the next term. If there's information on that, I'd appreciate it.
Counselor Bowen.
Thank you. If I may speak to that point through you. My understanding from being in some of the conversations leading up to the introduction was that the end goal for all of the extension streets was to prevent parking on the northern side of the street and to allow parking on the southern side of the street during the day. That looks a little different on each street. there would be no parking on the street that's just a gravel turnaround more than a street. But for Abbott, there is a carve out in the language that southern street parking only goes 130 feet in from Lathrop Street to allow for neighbors with driveways at the end to have more access, with no parking at any time in front of those driveways, right at the very water edge. So my reading of that is that it provides ample accommodation to the neighbors who have had difficulty with people parking right in front of the sort of access point. And there is still some parking allowed, just not overnight parking. So the collection of edits breaks it up a little differently and makes it look, but that's the end goal and would be the end result if we adopt the edits as further amended in that previous meeting. So to my mind, I think it does adequately balance that need. Understanding, of course, that if people break the rules, that causes additional pain for neighbors. My perception of it is that if we were to try to carve out a resident exemption, it would make enforcement a lot more difficult for a couple of different reasons. One being that this area, we're looking at enforcing no parking being done by the police department versus downtown where we have parking restrictions and parking meters. It's a different system for figuring out who has a resident plate, who has paid the appropriate meter, who has been there too long. And that's not what's proposed for this neighborhood. So keeping it kind of clean and appropriate to the neighborhood and the goal of the restrictions, I think, is achieved by the language that we have in front of us without overly burdening the neighbors.
Thank you, Councillor Bowen.
Thank you.
All set, Councillor Houseman?
Yes.
Thank you. Is there other discussion, questions, or comments from members of the council? All right, there is a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
That carries 9-0. Thank you. Let's go to Order 291. Ms. Dixon, this is also available for final passage this evening.
Order 291, to proposed amendment to section 1511A of city ordinances relative to the airport. Should I read the legal notice, or is that?
You can read that. Okay.
Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Beverly as follows. Order 223-291, proposed amendments to Article 2, Chapter 15, Section 15-11A, Airport Commission, composition, terms of office by redacting the second sentence reading members of such commission shall not have any affiliation or interest directly or indirectly with any operating firm or lessee at the airport and aviation facilities. The full text of Order 291 can be found at the City Clerk's office, 191 Cabot Street, Beverly, and also available online at beverlyma.gov.
Thank you, Ms. Dixon. Is there a motion to approve Order 291?
So moved.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
That carries 9-0. Thank you. And we have Order 281.
(2023-281), be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Beverly as follows. Amend Beverly Ordinance Chapter 15, Article 2, specific multiple member bodies to add a new section, Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee, summarized as follows. To establish a 7-member committee to advise city officials and residents on matters concerning bicyclists and pedestrians in the City of Beverly. Committee functions include, but are not limited to, promoting strategic infrastructure planning that facilitates safe and effective use by bicyclists, pedestrians, and other vulnerable road users for transportation, commuting, and recreation. The full text of Order 281 can be found at the City Clerk's office and is available online at beverlyma.gov.
Thank you. Councillor Rotundo, Councillor Bowen, you had submitted this proposed ordinance change. Is there anything that you'd like to say?
I just want to thank Kyle and Jonathan for both working so hard with us. Councilor Bowen actually for crafting the language on it. It's been a pleasure to work with you, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this materializes. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Rotundo. Councillor Bowen, anything
No, same, just to add my thanks, and I was pleased to see the city will be getting some new signage related to bicycle and pedestrian safety, so I think it just demonstrates, it'll be great to have a committee to support that work, to help with sign placement, to help with general awareness about vulnerable road users, and excited that there are community members looking forward to doing that work as a committee.
Thank you very much. Thank you to both of you for working on this and submitting it. Thanks to members of the Bike Committee as well for your work. Is there a motion to approve Order 281?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. That carries 9-0 for final passage this evening. That brings us to the end of our agenda. Councilors, are there any, that also brings us to the end of this council term and the end of our meetings for 2023. Councilor Rotundo, I see your hand.
So one thing, actually, Councilor Rand, you will be missed having you next to me for the last 4 years that I've been on the council. It's been a pleasure. A lot of the bantering back and forth, it will be greatly missed. I did want to make one other announcement in regards to the McPherson Center. They're doing their Youth Collaboration Board. We'll be serving up pancakes to the kids on Thursday, right after school from 3:30 to 5:36. So if anyone's around, please come down and enjoy them. But honestly, you'll be missed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Rotundo. Any other, Councilor Houseman?
Yeah, I just want to sort of follow on a little bit, not to drag it out, but it's been a great pleasure, and I really appreciated serving with Estelle these 10 years. I feel like I've learned a lot from her, and I will miss you, but I also want to extend my welcome to Councilor-elect Spang, and look forward to serving with her in the next term.
Thank you very much, Councilor Houseman. Other announcements or comments from members of the council? Councilor Rand.
First announcement, we have, not quite done yet. We have a National Grid Committee meeting this Thursday, 5 p.m. And the N192 project is moving into new neighborhoods. So if you have questions or trouble with the project, please come. That meeting is open to everyone, and you have an opportunity to speak at that meeting and be heard. So that's number one. And then secondly, I've learned a lot in 10 years, but not apparently to write things down that I want to say. So I didn't specifically address the council when I was receiving such heartfelt accolades, heartwarming accolades. And I want to say that I've really enjoyed working with this council in particular, and all the administration for the past 10 years. What I do know and have learned from being here is that every person I've met in the city who's volunteering or works for the city or has been elected to serve the community has the city's best interest in their hearts and is just acting like that every day. So it's been really special to be part of that. I already feel nostalgic for working with all of you and being up here with you, and I'm so looking forward to missing it. So thank you all for this amazing, wonderful send-off. It's been beautiful, and this is made easier for me because we will be in good hands. I'm so thankful to be able to kind of pass the torch to Danielle Spang. So thank you all for everything tonight and for being amazing city leaders. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilor Rand.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
That's how we end every conversation, so, you know.
That seems appropriate. Any other announcements or comments from members of the council? Well, I will say, as Councilor Rand just alluded to, and also Councilor Houseman, you mentioned Ward 2 Councilor-elect Danielle Spang. It's a good lead-in to remind everyone who might be watching that our January 2nd, the inauguration and our first city council meeting of 2024 will happen at Beverly High School at noon. Members of the public are, of course, invited. We will have a chance to swear in all newly elected city officials and also welcome Danielle Spang to our Ward 2 councilor seat. And so please save the date. It will be on BevCam as well. So if you can't join us in person, you can see it streaming live. Thanks to Kim and the team over at BevCam. A lot of thanks has been said, Councilor Rand. I, too, have learned a lot from you. from the time that I first got on the council, and it's been a true pleasure, a true honor to get to work with you, and I can't actually imagine having had a more graceful person to welcome me to the council and to teach me a lot about what it is to be a great city councilor, a great advocate for people in the community, and a great leader. So thank you. Thank you. With that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
That carries 9-0. Thank you very much, everyone. See you next term.